Well, there's one thing for sure when you tune into YouTube to Forever Fairmont, focus on Fairmont, whatever we decide to call it this week, is that you're going to be entertained. So today we're going to entertain you with a little history, background, up to date stuff. The big show once more. I like that. I use it in my emails. We're talking about the Farmers Festival. Now there's some street talk out there that we're putting too much information into the past and not enough into the present and the future of Fairmont, and that's fine. But we are not going to ignore the history of this town. And one of the things that's most important about the history of this town is the Farmers Festival. It started in 1950. My part of this is the historical part. My what I want to tell you a little bit about is the history of the Farmers Festivals. They started in 1950 by the Civitan Club, none of which are still living. Not one single member of the Civitan Club that started the festivals still alive. Wow. They're all gone. But they started in 50, ended in 60. Linwood Rich, the former Chamber of Commerce president, and I brought them back in mid-70s for 2 years. And then they died out again. And then in 86, we started them back because the county wanted us to do something, each town in the county to do something for the bicentennial.
Nice.
So that's what we put in.
That's awesome.
We put in our Farmers Festival again, and they've been, except for COVID, for 2 years, they've been going. This is number 48. 48 Farmers Festivals in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. And they've been great. I mean, we've had some wonderful guests here. We've had some of the great country entertainers. We've had Mike Cutts, the world champion tobacco auctioneer. We've had Medal of Honor winners, 2 Medal of Honor winners here. We've had Army helicopters on a flatbed truck, bands. We've had the Marlboro County Show Band that turned Fairmont downtown inside out when they performed. We've had beautiful queens. We have Miss North Carolina here every year. It's an important thing. We had Red the Mule with the Blue family. President Ronald Reagan, kind of, was here for one of our festivals. We have a lot of fun. Yeah. But the most important thing is people are able to come and see people they've not seen before for probably 6 months, 8 months, a year. They resurrect friendships. And I think the Farmers Festival still has merit. Attendance has dropped off some. In 1956, if you live in or around Fairmont, you're not going to believe this figure, but it is true. In 1956, there were 35,000 people in the town of Fairmont for the Farmers Festival. Wow. People sitting on top of the buildings downtown, legs hanging off. We had 20 bands here at one time. The governor's been here many times in the past. And I get the discussions, Mr. Chestnut, about people wanting us to relate more to the future. What are you going to do about tomorrow? How are you going to bring in industry? How are you going to bring in jobs? But I really believe that historically, we ought to stay connected to the past in some way.
Most definitely.
How do you feel about that?
I agree, Mr. Mayor. And Fairmont has a proud history, like a lot of our towns and county, when it comes to what created these towns. I think history is important when we look back at those things. And you look at the Strawberry Festival, you look at the Farmers Festival, you look at the Watermelon Festival. I think Scotland County has something going on with the Cotton Festival. As Americans, we are proud of our history. Good, bad, wrong, right, ugly, those things, for one, for the bad things, keep us from making those mistakes again. The good things are what remind us of how we started. So, the farmers' impact on the town of Fairmont cannot be denied at the end of the day. So, I am in agreement with you and the rest of the board that we keep sponsoring this festival and keep it going forward. Because, like you said, it's a chance for people from out of town that has no connection with the town to come in and see what Fairmont's like. It also allows those who was born and raised in Fairmont and has left to come back and to meet and to mingle with the current citizens here in this town. So I love festivals. For one, it brings money to our town. It brings investors to our town. It brings people who's lost touch with Fairmont, because this is what we need to grow for the future. But paying homage to the past isn't the worst of things. We have heard those conversations about getting more bands involved, getting more farmers involved. The thing about this is a town sponsored event. We can't make farmers bring their tractors to this festival. We can't make schools that are struggling with band attendance put kids on a bus and march them through a parade on Monday or on during the festival. But we can, and we have tried to push this. Our staff works really hard on this farmers festival.
Oh yeah.
People in the community with the pageantry work very hard on this festival. So it's not like the hard work isn't being done. We want this to keep going, and we also want it to keep growing. So you and I have talked about things that can make this festival bigger in the future. My thing is, I'm certain it will be. It'll take some time. Things are just different now, but we do have a proud heritage, and we have a promising future, and we try to highlight that during the festival. You see the old tractors, you see the newer $1 million tractors, and that just shows how the farming communities all across the United States have become more commercially and, and and have bigger equipment, but it doesn't have the labor that it used to have, Mr. Mayor.
Well, I'll tell you this, folks. I'm sitting in a building, Mr. Chestnut and I are sitting in a building right now, that if it were not for tobacco,
That's right.
this building probably would not be a hotel in the past. Because every summer, this place was filled with tobacconists that came here to work for the various companies that bought tobacco in this town. We were the biggest little tobacco market in the world. I'm not making that up.
That's right.
With the exception of Wilson, North Carolina, no town in North Carolina in our population area group sold as much tobacco. We paid out $1 million every day, 5 days a week, throughout all of tobacco season in its heyday. Now, of course, that's gone. That's the government's fault. Wasn't the farmer's fault.
Correct.
The government did that. And we lost textiles because of the government. Not our fault. The government did that. But as long as, I guess I can say this, as long as I am in some form of official capacity, I am going to believe that we should continue to honor our past,
I agree.
our heritage. I really believe we should do that.
I
And I'm
agree.
going to fight and struggle that we do that.
And I think that's a great idea.
Thank you all for listening. And if you're in anywhere near Fairmont on Saturday the 19th, come on over and let us party with you, okay? We'll see
Thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye.